Good afternoon and welcome to TalkSports. It's our weekend program. It's our weekly program, to be exact, where we speak to the movers and shakers of sports, those who are involved some way or the other, the sportsmen, sportswomen, uh, coaches, administrators, just about everyone who involved in sports directly or indirectly. Well, as indicated on this weekend's program, we have a special guest. We'll be speaking to Mrs. Rachel Modeste, who herself has more than 3 decades of coaching in Grenada in various aspects. And she'll be talking all about the challenges the coaches face in Grenada in assisting, these athletes to achieve their maximum potential. And she'll be looking overall at all these challenges they face, whether it's interacting with the athletes themselves. And when I say athletes, it's broadest sense, whether it's track and field, whether it's swimming, whether it's tennis, just whatever sport. And, even with the interacting with parents, interacting with administrators, as well as the authorities. Then briefly, we'll also look at the planned upgrade of the stadium facilities in Grenada, both the cricket and track and field and football stadia, and how that, in a way, may impact preparations for the 2024 track and field season in particular, because we have Intercol, which is the biggest track and field championships, well, second to Jamaica in the region. And then we also have the CARIFTA Games coming up. And a bit of concern by some, expressing concern about the time factor involved when you look at things like the weather phenomenon and all these sort of things, whether or not we might be cutting it very close for the timeline they gave for the commencement of the work, etc., etc. So all of that and anything else we'll want to talk about. As usual, my guest co-host, Rudy and Sylvan, is in Toronto, and Rachel is with me. Rachel is joining us from St. George's, Grenada. As I said, good afternoon to you, Rachel. Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Sports for the very first time, Rachel.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Basco.
Right. And I'm glad to see that you have been able to make it. And, um, well, it has been probably quite a while. And
A long
as a sort of disclaimer, I have known Rachel for many, many years, a lot of years, and her involvement in particularly in track and field, but it's interesting to know that it's not only track and field she has been involved in, swimming, and not only on the mainland but also in Caracou. So Rachel, probably I give you the opportunity to give us an idea of your involvement in sports, probably first as an athlete yourself, at the
time.
Anakin High School back then,
Yeah,
in the 70s and 80s, and how you evolved into coaching.
yeah. Okay, well, as you said, my name is Rachel Modeste. I have been coaching for the past like 28 years or so. And my main goal and purpose, I was a very good athlete because of my sister. She used to attend the St. Joseph Convent. And I trained from her early. And then I entered the Mother Rose School and I was doing well. We ran there and then I entered the Anglican High School. And what has been happening there, to me, I was very focused. There was a lot of negatives, but I was very focused. Why I was focused? I noticed that the schools had rivals in themselves from day one. I never talked, but I observed. And what I decided to do is to make a difference because when we went to training, I realized they had sectors, in everything you do, it have categories of people and they look at some and some is just by the way. But what I did, I tell myself, I want to train for myself. Mr. Raymond Roberts was one of my motivator. So
Mhm.
that's what really got me into athletics because he keep telling me you can do it. People like Mr. Dikoto, they might know his name, Mr.
Yeah.
Dikoto. He used to tell me you're very determined. I remember when I think about Noel from St. David's, Chexy from Guelph, um, the Jacinta Vivek and these girls, and a little piece of shorter under them, but I'm telling myself I will make it, and I used to run on walls and run on edges of things just to develop my motor skills. That's where I built, and what I used to do too, I run the beach for myself, on the dead sand, and I used to do my own thing. I had no coach really till Dandarat. Remember Dandarat?
Yeah, the late
That
Dandarat. Yeah, Gordon Ward.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, God. And he started to help me. And then Mr. Raymond Roberts and people used to see me training, I used to train when everybody gone, because I used to feel kind of like intimidated. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Right. So that's the basis of your involvement, okay? And
yeah,
and to some extent, you said that you were around the time of the Jacinta Bartholomew and others, right?
yes,
So you
yes,
were competing with them. So what was the
yes.
difference with the Jacinta attending the St. Joseph Convent, St. George, and then you attending the Anglican High School? You know, what really made that difference then, that
Right.
there wasn't a Rachel Modeste in the midst in terms of the name being mentioned?
Was Patrick in those days. Rachel Patrick. I was Patrick in those days. And
Okay,
what
right.
has what has been happening then? Well, Patrick wouldn't shine because it's St. Joseph Convent, right? So I knew that. So what I do my homework and I work on my own. I was my own motivator because when you look at the people at the top, they won't see me, but they will ask me to come and Saint represent St. George's in Grenville. And sometimes I do little off thing and they will move me. They will say, well, let me pull her aside and help her. Because I'm a little novice doing my own thing. Right? So I had to learn on my own and watch them. And Sir Raymond Roberts used to help me. And Danda, that is the two people. They will help me. And I tell myself, yeah, girl, you can do it. So I was my own motivator from long. See?
Mhm.
So they will see that. Noel from St. David's, I was in midst with her. Noel St. David's in this. We used to, and we were friends, We never had like enemy coaches getting vexed, and we never had that. No, no. But no, it's different. Yeah,
Yeah, but times have changed. We know that. Times continue to change. Before I bring on my co-host who's in Toronto, that's Rudian. Um, how then you made the transition from all that you tell me there, and even with all the challenges you face then as a competitor, to coaching? What got you involved in coaching?
right. What really got me into coaching, right? As I grow older in the running thing, I realized that some kids are not really seen. Some kids have the talent, but what are we doing? Sometimes I see the wrong set of people going, and I'm like, no boy. I myself had to go in CARIFTA. And let me tell you, they say every dog, every person have their friend. I was told, watch, you take up that little skirt. In them days, I think you used to see me running in a skirt. You know why? Because of the religion thing, but I get more knowledge and understanding now how to do stuff, right? What has been happening? My Danda pulled me as I say, listen, that's win and you and that skirt. This year you go run with all the skirt. And that year, I beat this in Bartholomew. And Louis, he's teaching in PBC right now. One day he was speaking to me by food line and he said to me, I know you beat Jacinta one year. I say, good job. Because I know I beat her. I know? When we went in that finish line, I studied how to beat her because I couldn't finish on the line, right? So what I did, I studied how to beat her. I tell myself, if I only leave that block before her, she can't catch me. And let me tell you something. I was really, then I say, if you talk down there, you're in trouble. So I used to block out my opponents when I had to run. I block them out. And brother, when I get to that block, I feel like I was flying. Because what I did, I prayed and I put God first. And I did it. They asked who win. I heard them say, who win? Mr. Dikoto was the man that said, I think she hit it. They despise that. And they put the second on me. I look at all of them and I shake my head.
So
Yes, brother.
that was Rachel Patrick in those days, right? Because
Patrick.
yeah,
Yes.
Rachel Patrick in those
Yes,
days.
Patrick.
So
Say
so
Patrick. No, yeah.
so you believe these challenges then was what motivated you to
Yes.
into coaching?
Yes, because I want to go in and make a difference. That was my dream. But I continued and tried. But I end up in swimming one day because my sister, who is teaching and helping Mr. Michael Davidson in them days, said to me, "Do you want to help me?" I said, "Where?" So when I go up to the pool, I said, "What? All this going on up here?" And I said, "You know what?" And then I see another challenge up there. So I decide to make that difference. I tell her yes. And I started there. What year, boy? Can't remember the exact year. And that pushed me to study. I went and get certified in swimming also. I am certified in athletics. Yeah. I certified in swimming. I had a challenge. They had to go to Colombia to do a course. They told me they can't pay for me. I went and borrowed my money and I went on the same plane with everybody. And I got certified and paid it for.
You mean swimming?
Yeah, I paid to go to Colombia for myself. Yeah,
And you flew with the same people.
yeah,
um,
yeah. On the same plane. And I said to the individual, I cannot speak Spanish, but will you assist me? And I was right on the plane. And then one person in swimming said, you see, sometimes messages come back. The person said, when they said put your name down, it's like they get crazy. And one said, don't underestimate her, you know. She's not easy to deal with because they know I wouldn't call with you, but my mind will bring me there because I know to find everything I need. That is why I'm in there to help the children who cannot pay. The children who, my thing is about runners athletics and the swimming club also take those that cannot really do it and make them champions. Right?
okay, so you mentioned runners club. Are you speaking about your clubs itself that you are affiliated to?
I was talking about swimming still, but I just said the runners and the red
Oh, okay,
stoppers
right. Okay,
swimming.
so
Yes.
what's the name of the club in swimming?
Karaku Pity Matnik Red Stopper Swim Club.
Red Stopper Swim Club. Okay, right. So
Karaku
you
Pity
got
Matnik.
right. So you got yourself certified as a swimming coach. You already track and field.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened after? What happened after?
Right. Well, time go by and you know the athletes I taking them from nowhere, bringing them up swimming. Then I went to Karaku and I went to Pity Matnik. And when everybody tell me they can swim, but they're swimming under the water. But it was good, you know. So I got in there and I tell, okay, come everybody. I got to school. I went to ask permission because I'm not working under the government, right? I am certified, still have to go through them to ask permission, you know. So I got permission. I went in, I registered my business, and I went into Karakopiti Matnik, okay? And I didn't touch any schools as yet. I was just dealing with the parents on the ground, telling them this is a club I have, has Joel Lendo working with me and a few parents, and I just doing my thing on the beach by the by Mills, you know, they call it Esplanade Beach, you know, and they are teaching, you know. And another challenge with me again, you know, in everything, they had some, I would say so-called elite people. I don't want to say white, you know, down on the other side, keep telling me, come down here and teach, come down. I said, no, I come to meet everybody in Caracas, you know. And we had a challenge again. But when they realized, well, Mr. Joel moving with me, they think I working with ministry. No, I was not. And I did that for a while. I would bring them to competitions. We went to St. Lucia, and I started to do my thing on my own. I used to go up to Karaku, pay my own money, walk up from Lauriston to the capital of Karaku. That's Hillsborough, walk up sometimes. Sometimes I ask for a ride. Sometimes I tell somebody, come and meet me. And I do that for a while until Joel and say, nah, man, all these things you're doing here, let me bring it to the PS. So when he brought me to the PS, you know, and I think Miss, could you allow me to bring some children to Grenada to swim because I know they could do it. So that year, I didn't check the years for you, but I went 2004. We went to St. Lucia 2006 or somewhere around there. We came amongst everybody, we came about, I think we came about 8 or 10 out of how much clubs, you know, and there was one day, what? When you go to car or then now, you see the times with the kids from here to the different clubs that my kids are working well, you know. And what happened, I brought them into Grenada for that swimming that year. I brought boys and I brought girls. That year, I think my boys came fourth. My boys came second or third, and the other team came fourth. And it was like, Mothers, where are you teaching these kids? I say, only in the sea, we have nothing. So what I used to do, bring them in a day before, try to do flip turns with them, try to teach them how to touch the wall, you know, and that's what we do for years, you know. And that's what we have. We had a young man who made OECS from Naya Dikoto, people like what's his name again? Daryl Snag and all these people, they could have been people who were on the team, but you know,
So, I
that's
mean,
it.
you. So what has happened since then to the program in Caracou and PD Martinique, the swimming program?
Right. But what's happened? There's a lady came in and said they're doing free swimming, right? So what is happening now? We were challenged who was getting the $2 from some of the parents because I did a program around the island for myself, right? I went to the different schools, was not swimming, although they had a supposed to be a ministry program going on then, right? So what I did when I saw some of the school was not swimming, because I went to them personally. I said, I am private, but would you like me to coach your school and you could pay a small fee? Anglican High School, because I was an old girl, stood up for me. And in those days, I think it was my sister, one of them said, we want Modest Patrick to be our swimming coach. And I started in high school with my sister, with Mr. Davidson, working for high school from about 2000, 2000, 2000 somewhere around there. It was very early. And to date, well, COVID came and everything was crashed. But now we start back. This term, I am the coach still. Right now, I'm not doing anything much because the program, because of the COVID, had crashed. Karaku program had crashed. I went to the minister to get the new minister to get some information of what was happening because I like to do my homework. So when I went with a twofold thing, right? I went to him with swimming athletics. I asked him some questions. I said, what is in place so that y'all can help clubs or children who really have the talent and is not doing it and cannot afford? I spend my own money. This is what I've been doing for years. COVID has come. I have not get one dime from nobody because I am paying NIS. I'm doing everything. When I went to what they had at the stadium, they told me whether I not qualify. I said, wow, and I'm paying NIS. I'm paying my dues, right? So what has happened? Everything is done. He said to me he will try to find out, and I know he was willing. But when I asked him another question, are there monies that is in bus to us because I draw football because I see a lot of things happening in football. I say, but JFA give money for XYZ. I want to know. So I asked him the questions. He said to me, well, I have not seen anything documented in place to say, well, this club get one, this club get two. It's in a way where you could give who you want, who you like. I say who you like. He did not tell me that. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So what has happened? I assume for myself. That is why some of the clubs that look good and people are involved with the elite, with the top get help, and the others will eat grass. So what I decided to do, make that difference. Stand up strong. It's a lot of challenge, but because my thing with my children, I told them, this is about you, and my thing is about what God will do with you. And we want to motivate you, and you can have some values with yourself. It's not just about running.
Mhm.
I had a little girl who couldn't run at all. We take them that way, cannot swim at all. When you said swim with me, I can't. I said you could do it. And I worked with that young man. I had a young man who came into me in swimming called Miguel Mitchell. Miguel Mitchell, and why I'm calling his name, and one Patrick Postal. And why I'm calling these names, I want some people right now to go and do homework. People ask me, I don't like Facebook. I don't be on Facebook easily. I do my work and it will show one day. And today it seems to be sufficient. I'm hearing people talking. Let them keep talking. But why I call you, the person said to me, did you ever speak to Mr. Baskin? I said, not really. And they pushed me. I didn't really want to be here. But I think now is the time because these children was doing excellent in swimming, brother. Patrick Poster, no. Miguel came to me first. He said, Miss, I'm feeling everything. He told me that. He's working on the airport right now. And that little boy was so hot. He was doing excellent. I'm telling you, if you watch the record, I'm giving you some homework to go look at him. Patrick Postal, Miguel Mitchell, Niall Dikoto, and others I can't call the names right now. I forget. These children has been doing well. I said when Patrick Postal came to me, he made I took him to the tree as he was trembling, but I keep him with me on Sundays. I tell his mother, I'm going to see to it that he's well taken care of. He has an aunt up the road from me and slept there in the night. I bring him to the pool. I teach him the flip turn. I make sure he's okay. I say, you're going to the trial. Don't tell me you're scared. Because sometimes they are scared and we have challenges. We could not use the pool until nighttime. But at night, I used to reach home at 9 o'clock in the night. 9 o'clock. My husband used to say, but I sleep up there. Yes, I used to come in. When everybody finished train, red snappers use the club, use the pool, and I decided to do it. I didn't want to make a name. I wanted to help the kids. And brother, these children swam and could have made the team. And today, if we had a proper structure with the swimming, Grenada would have been far gone. Brother, sometimes I'm honest. I'm not apologizing. Some of the kids who did not make the time going and swim. No apologies. I have coaches who work at the pool from athletics. A certain one said to me, I will never come back here and coach because of XYZ. Not everything you see on the air. And he said to me, and I've seen that young man never come back because I tell my son, if you're going to swim, I am not letting you go nowhere and telling me you're making a personal best and don't come back with a medal. You're going to a big championship and you tell me your personal best. No. We say we have challenges with the pool. If we swim in the sea too, I believe we could do well. Kayako did well. I teach him in the sea. And if I had a chance, I'd build a pool in the sea. Believe you me, I could get it barrel fixed up. And if somebody give me that now, I will make another few years and help develop. Right now, the techniques are not even so good. We need that kind of technical. I will hands up to Miss Martin. Mrs. Martin used to teach with us. That she was a very good coach with me. You know what she asked me one day? She didn't shame to ask me that. Probably she see I'm technical. Modest, what do you do with this little girl? She is not swimming with me, she's swimming with them. She said, could I ask her mother to give her to you? And then she did it, you know. When the mother came to the pool, she asked them if they could switch the clubs so that I could give her some help. And let me tell you, because what happened? She came swimming big, but you have to teach her like a child still. She don't know anything. So you put her somewhere to kill her. She can't keep up with them. She had to fight. And then you're taking your time to say, let's do the techniques right. Our study says, if you leave them far, you cannot fix them. Okay? So you have to understand that. That's for swimming. I could go on and on and on. There's a lot.
I know quite a lot you have to say, and I want to bring on Rudian. You have been listening for quite a while, and certainly
Hi.
as someone who has been involved in coach in Rudian, you probably may be able to share some of the not some of the experiences, because not to say you're in Grenada, but I mean understand what Rachel is really talking about in terms of the challenges.
Most definitely, Michael. It's good to see you. Ms. Modest, it's a pleasure to be in your presence. I surely do understand your concern and your pain that you go through, because I haven't done as much as you have done, but I understand. I have made the sacrifice as well. Um,
Yeah.
but I come to understand in this part of the world how it works. That when you have a club and you're part of an organization, which is the Athletics Canada, um, you're still on your own.
Yeah.
Um, unless that athlete is good enough to be on the national team,
Yeah.
um, or qualified to be on the national team. So you never get anything from the government. Everything you have to go and do on your own. So a lot of it out here is sponsorships. There is businesses, and we are 100 times bigger than Grenada for sure in terms of businesses out here that we can go to. We have the incentive that they give to those business, which is they get a tax break. If they give something, they could get it back later on when the tax time come. So a lot of this stuff is here. Um, but as a small nation, as my beautiful country that I love so much,
Grenadian?
that I love so much, it is thing that it should be high time for them to get more involved in sports in terms of supporting the clubs that is out there. As little as it can be. They may not be able to help everyone, but if they can just help one, and it shows that they care, and it shows that the interest is there for sports in the Grenada. So I truly seen that, and we spoke about it many times. It's more getting the understanding from their side. Understand that what is there for clubs. Are you just interested in the athletes developing on their own? I mean, you did everything on your own, as well as I do. I get my coaching levels,
Yeah.
and I went and I did what I had to do to get it done. And you went on your own and do those things. And I've heard stories of in Grenada of people who were supposed to go on coaching, get the coaching levels through the government, and days before they call them and tell them no, they can't go no more. They're gonna give it to someone else. So I've heard stories in the past, and then you have to be careful with some stories because it could be on a bias aspect. Some people feeling bad, so they say some bad things. So you have to be mindful of that at the same time. But when it comes to the athlete, I think it's very important that we are a small nation, and there should be some sort of budget, something that can help the clubs who ask for it, who come forth and ask. And you have to, it's not just coming, there might be a proposal. You send a proposal, then they may give you something. Maybe for one athlete, because you might have one that is exceptional from the others that could make a difference. And then you make a proposal for that one athlete. And I think it's time for some change to come in that aspect. But like I said, keep what you're doing. And I love listening to you and hearing the stories and hearing the grind, as they say, that you're grinding. And you've been doing it for years. It's not now. The sacrifice that you have made. And like I said, I've done the sacrifice too. I've traveled with athletes, and in the end, they went away, they get a scholarship, they get the degree. And that in the end is the purpose of it all. So I have one girl who made the sacrifice for, and then she probably could go to the Olympics this summer. She's actually that good. So I'm looking forward to that. But at the same time, just keep doing it. We as coaches, we keep pushing. It's hard, when we see everything, but it's different here because we know the system is not for the clubs. We know that here. And that's an understanding, and we totally understand that. We go there, we get sponsorship for the kids, and we do that. And then the parents have to get involved too in this part of the world where they have to pay some sort of fees so the athletes can compete. That is certainly something. I am not calling names on my country people, but they don't have it to do it. And I always say for years, some of the best athletes in the world, if you listen to the story, they come from families who don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So they don't have it. So that's a whole thing where there should be something in place for those athletes. There are parents who have it. They do.
Yeah.
But you have some parents that don't. It's just the same as education. The kids are very smart. They don't have the money to go to the university. They don't have it. You understand? So there have to be that exception in place for those things and businesses need to start getting involved into the small clubs as little as they can give. If they get involved, then there's it's a promotion for the business because you're going to promote them. So a lot of this stuff have to come in place, and until we get there, we got to keep grinding. We got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to keep pushing, and then the acknowledgement to you for everything that you have done also need to be in place too, to acknowledge the coaches who actually do have done things. And I've been talking about it time after time. I had a conversation a few days ago. I know people who've been doing this for years and not one time they've been acknowledged. They have win primary school sports. They have win Paris sports for a number of years, never been acknowledged to say thank you. But when they die and move on, they're gonna say, well, that person was good and that person was this and that. No, give them the flowers now. Do it now. So someone like yourself should be acknowledged, as little as it is, just to be acknowledged to say that this is what you have done. And so this is what we're living in. This is surely what we're living in. But I really grateful for that. Yeah.
Many challenges faced by Rachel, not just as a well, she explained, even in your days as a competitor, you face these challenges.
Yes.
And even now as a coach, you continue to face these challenges. And Rudian was saying quite a bit there too, Rachel. And I think earlier you alluded to you just briefly touched on it, but you also face challenges as a coach with administrators, with club structure, but it appears also with the whole system itself, because you are saying the problems you have to even accessing the stadium, for example, to coach your athletes.
Okay, well, what happened? That was a big, I fought. I remember my son, first of all, was in PVC and they had a hits in the stadium. And that's when I began to get a lot. So he came home and he was not feeling well. So I asked him, what is his problem? He said, Mom, they locked us out of the stadium and I got wet. I said, from what? I was so mad. And then there was a woman, she works at one of the radio stations then. And I walked in there and she said, yes. I said, but don't you believe what happened? My son was sick. And I said, are you crazy? This is happening here in Grenada? Because I didn't know. So she said, do you want to speak about it? I said, but you working in a radio station, why didn't you speak about it? So when listen to me, I love people. I love everyone. I like to criticism positive. If I say something I will offend you, I could tell you sorry, because my heart is, I want to do, I might be doing some things wrong, correct me. So when that happened, they asked me if I would speak about it right there, like they got me impromptu, right? So I said, no problem. I went on the air, and then after that, I spoke about it, and I asked the teacher, first of all, he said, yes, they had some misunderstanding, they locked them or they couldn't go in. I said, what? So then what I started to do now, I started to go down to the stadium in the evening, but it normally locked, nobody inside. But when after 6, I used to see the Chinese passing from my gate and go inside and walk. They're exercising inside the stadium, they walk in. So I asked a lady who does cleaning, Miss, what them doing? She said they just come and walk. I said, just so? I said, but athletes cannot use it. Why? So the same gate they went us go in, I went in the gate one day and started train. But I thought the stadium was government, right? Who was there for didn't explain it to us, and I keep battling because I tell them I'm not going outside. Charge me a money, I pay. Charge me. Until Miss Sauls got there. I have to say, Miss Sauls, thank God for her. She was very understanding. And I went up to the officer, I said, I want to speak to her. Because one day when she called me, I said, Miss Sauls, I'm not going outside. Call the police, but I want the train to finish training. And the security was talking to me, but I was continuing training. I didn't pay any yet then, because I tell them, let me pay, okay? When I went up to the office, I was so shocked, to be honest. I apologized to her and all. I did. She explained to me, she said, Miss Modeste, Don't you know this is not government, it's statutory body, or you call it that? I said, Miss, true. She said, so you know we have to make our own money. The government help with a little something. So I said, okay, miss. Then she advised me what to do, how I could do that. I said, but miss, can't you all just charge us a small fee and we are willing? But then she didn't give me a right answer at the same time, right?
Mhm.
But I continued on the track, honestly. When I give in trouble in a sense because the security telling me, nobody, I tell the security, when we finish, we're going outside. That was me. I don't know if I will probably might see like a troublemaker, I don't know. When another coach saw me inside, them coming too. So we start training inside. So then they're keeping at me alone inside training. So they wondering what's going on. So they come in too. I won't tell them go outside. All I say, I taking my own risk. I told
Mhm.
them that. But they can't
Right.
say I tell them inside. And we start. And then well, my son decided, okay, she will let us pay a little something. And I agreed. And I didn't give trouble. I paid. But the children I had could not pay much. So when I started paying I had more money, I tried to ask the minister to help. He said they want to try to help. And then it just didn't come true as yet. So I'll still try to pay for it and get put out. But then our understanding is that probably the stadium is really a competition ground, not a training ground. So we might have to find other alternatives to train. So and then after CARIFTA, probably we might not, when it's fixed, we cannot use it. I understand. I don't want to say wrong thing. I understand if I'm subject to correction. But I am the one. And thank God I did not be enemy with them. I showed them that I was genuine. I just wanted the interest to use for the children, not me. I can take that and come home with it. And it's, now what I have a problem with, I have pictures on my phone up to now. The big artists that come to the stadium, brother, they mash up the stadium? They mash up the training ground outside. They bring the thing they put on, say they put on pieces of wood for the driver to go to the middle, right? And I think, and they're thinking the poor children mashing up the stadium. No, the artist that comes in and the certain football thing that going on, when they put on the thing and they drive and they go in the middle. So they need to find a grounds for them to do that, or do it outside the stadium. No, nobody is saying that because they're scared, but brother, God has allowed me to stay behind because I've been praying for this. My runners athletics club, we pray, we mentor the kids that come with the hearts for running and so we clothe them. Some people is trying to help us now, brother, for these kids on the track. But I have a problem with what the artists are doing on the track, and they should be fixing our track. They mash it up with a V. I was there one day. I said, "Yo, what you all doing? All you put on that there, but that's sinking still." When they just get them, I just deal with them. I said, look what you're doing. But we children can come in the stadium with our little spikes and our bare feet. And look what all you doing, all the mashing it up. All things is in the stadium, brother. They put on pieces of that thing and say the vehicle driving on it, go in the middle, they put it in. I watch them. My phone have pictures of over there. And they could come from my phone, I won't give them, but I have it. I took pictures. I like to take my own evidence. And that is where I have a problem. These things driving and mash up this. So when they make the stadium better, well, let's still have these people coming with this big heavy duty thing to go and do the thing in the middle day, carnival thing in the middle day. But look at thing for you when they can't support. Brother, let me tell you, I have a young lady from Canada, from the US. My children started running bare feet, but they're well clothed. You know who helping me? Johnson Sportswear. Right now, we owe him money and he gave me the clothes. Johnson, that man, blessings. He gave me the clothes. I have it, I could clothe them. If the parents don't pay, we go borrow the money and pay, or we go beg and pay. We have to get over almost $10,000. I asked some of the same top people to help me with a few dollars. I ain't get a dollar yet. Only promises. We owe 10,000 and more. Brother, who will help them? I believe somebody sharing me now. I will give them a number. We all call them. We all signs and designs, and I line for you. Because I used to pay them, but I ain't getting much money now. So my pocket lock. Signs and design, Johnson's. And the few people who do the little work, I go into them. If I give them 300, they're doing it for me. They believe they know how to come trustworthy. Mr. Bido, hands up to this man. He helped with Karakou swimming. He gave me all the clothes, Mr. Bido.
That's at the trade center.
Yeah, GCT. I have the
Yeah.
t-shirt inside. So when I go back to Karakou, if somebody want to say they sponsor me to, because Karakou people say this must win swimming, Karakou have the swimmers. And I could go there now and get 5 who could come and in the trials. But I didn't do no trials this year because I laid back still. I could bring them and they're beating them all day. But what I tell you, no joke. The athletes right now, I start with 4-year-olds and up. When they reach the secondary school, you know what I understand happening at certain school orientation? They tell the child they have to leave the club because they're getting different training. What different training at 12-year-old could get at 11-year-old from a coach? No, when we groom them from small, that's chaos, brother. And the children of some of them coaches, when they take them, they cause them to be injured, brother. Let me tell you, athletics here in Grenada is chaos. Coaches are teaching children not to talk to children not to talk to coaches because of the rival. Look for Keitana Douglas. She's not running anymore because of certain coaches. Brother, right now, I have a boy who is dead in a certain club because when we tell them you go pick this year, the parents don't understand. Everybody calling, come to my club, come to my. I don't call it nobody. I don't call. My work has already proved itself. So parents are calling me. Right now, my hands are full with young ones. So when I tell them, those who will stay with me will stay. Parents have understanding. Some parents don't understand. If a child trains from Monday to Saturday, that is chaos. I don't care what you tell me. No, and right now, with the CARIFTA teams, some of them might take children from that coach. They're not asking how the child physique, balance, what they do. You take them and they want to fix their running. I remember a young man named Sinky. I talked to him personally. This man big running. A coach trying to fix you running. The man started to run off balance, brother. He's big already. Groom them from small and let the techniques stay with them as they grow. I studied that in swimming when I went to the coast. And when I came back here, I never tried to change a big swimmer. I help them, I assist them. But them young ones, when I was there, somebody recently tell me, Miss Modest, I ain't seen techniques in the swimming. I say, if all you pay me $3,000 I fix it, all them new young ones, all you are coming up there. Yeah. A certain parent said, Miss Modest, you don't want to coach certain club for me. I said, man, I rest you now, man. I going back in that calamity, brother. It's the same thing going on. Same thing.
So
No change.
so a lot of things basically to be fixed, it appears, Rachel, and I don't know where we'll start from. I mean, even though there is the talk of this national sports policy, etc., but it appears that in terms of the administration of sports,
It's bad.
right, and a lot of challenges even for coaches. So, what do you think will take for you, Rachel, to be more involved in coaching in Grenada? I mean, you said you kind of lay back these days, but what do you think it will take for you to get more involved?
Okay. Personally, brother, if the people who is at the top will understand that they are the like I'm quoting the word now, right? The word of God says, the older, the younger learn from the older, right? This is the opposite way. The younger want to tell the older what to do, right? So what we see happening now is that it's chaos. But what I personally, as I told one coach, I say for me, I have no, but we have to unite. Unity first. Come together. Call everybody together. Let's trash out whatever we gripe in, right? Because think about it, brother. One day I was at the stadium. A certain, I want to say whoever the gender came to me. I want to speak to you, right? Brother, before I move, I get cussed up right in front of them, children, another coach watching. Well, I was so shocked. I said nothing. Nothing, brother. and I leave it alone. I said to the guy, don't you see what is happening? So we need to come together. No kids start to get hit. This one throwing, that one throwing. So what I started to do, and let me tell you what I started to do from this top. I get in fruits, right? The neighbor have golden apple and she tree. Sometimes I just bring a little juice and sell to make back some little to put back to them. We haven't thing coming up yet to keep feed them. So I don't really want to sell the golden apples. So you know what I did? The same children was hostile to me. I start to feed them. So I say you all have to eat a fruit after all the finish run. Right? So we need to have the unity of coaches, administrators. Let us action and let us say what can we do to better these kids from young? Because I am running with the young ones. Listen, everybody, if you watch who dominates the young part of all the games that gone so far from COVID to now, runners athletics. Runners athletics. We don't have much big ones, right? So the one or two big ones who come, we take them from nothing. Bevandre Nelson from Wesley College. First year he threw, he won CARIFTA Games because Miss Slinger George, Miss Lisa Slinger George, took that young man, pulled him out from the school as we doing with them, and brought him to the stadium over by me. She said, Miss Modeste, because she walked along with me, Lisa Slinger George. So it's not me alone. Lisa Slinger George is in the mix. She is in the mix. They don't see us, but we are there. And this young lady brought that boy. Now everybody fighting for Bevandre Nelson, you know. They want him now. He's in Wesley College. We had a few who were on 10 and 11 something with them big star boys. And he come forth, you know. And he didn't come forth, but he come good in the time. We didn't check about that. We check on him his time, the time. He said that counts. So you could get it. No, all of them dead because they're fighting. This one say come in that club. I see them come back and I see them running. So this is what is happening. I said to them, let us build what do you call it? Something after school, like what Jamaica and them does do they. Don't let these swimmers and them go and do concrete and walk. Try to help them, pay them, and keep them training, and Grenada will be nice. They will hear me so. Because I talking nonsense. Because if we get out help with these kids, the real set of kids, some of our good athletes are injured right now. You might see it. Okay, you might see them running. As they run one race, they lay up. Sometimes too much gymming. Because and then what happening now? When we're not doing it with some of them, they're saying we ain't coaching right. And then when you look at we training 3 days a week, rest them and bring them on the beach, do a little swim out and do a little stretch out and do a little sand in the light time. And they go home and the cells started replenish. They will function better. So this administrative, we look at them, please. And something need to change, you know. We have too much all, I don't know, but something need to change.
Well, I would say probably a lot of things need to change. Let me just get some comments there. Natalie is saying Grenada too backward when coming to our athletes. John saying, whoa, very informative. And then we have another comment saying, kudos to Miss Modeste. She has been doing a fantastic job with the children in Carriacou and PD Martinique. She has produced great swimmers, but the challenges for the sport and those swimmers are it's actually saying the need for a pool. And it says Carriacou and PD Martinique in need of a pool to give better opportunities to every talented swimmers. Quite a bit, Rachel said, but it appears that based on what you're saying, I will conclude, and probably Rudy and you will conclude too, that a lot needs to change. But before we, no. I think it may work out to something to what you're talking about, right? I just wanted to get our viewers in tune with a story that I came across, and it had to do, and in some way has to do with what you're speaking about in terms of preparing our athletes for competition and things like that. So, and I think it's something that we need to pay attention a lot to, because most times we say we prepare our athletes, and again, when I say athletes, I'm talking about overall, right? But
Yes, yes.
we have at the Pan Am Games taking place in Santiago in Chile, right? And the chef de mission, who is also the president of the St. Lucia Boxing Association, his name is actually David Christopher. He expressed some concerns in a report there that regarding the readiness of Caribbean boxers during recent bouts. So he looked at some of the Caribbean boxers competing in the Pan Am Games, and he expressed some serious concerns. He's recommending that the region channels its effort into enhancing local competitions as a means of better preparing for events of this caliber. So we don't have proper local competitions, but somehow we get our competitors in regional and international competitions, right? But I want you to listen to this this piece that was sent in from Choice TV. That's St. Lucia's Choice TV. They have a journalist in at the Pan Am Games, and they spoke to Mr. Christopher about that. I just want you to listen to it.
American Games, and president of the St. Lucia Boxing Association, David Shakes Christopher, has taken issue with some of what he has observed at boxing matches involving Caribbean athletes at the Pan American Games. Christopher has indicated his displeasure with the lack of readiness of the boxers in a voice note that has been circulating. We spoke with Christopher regarding some of his concerns.
Most of the boxers from the Caribbean that came to this Pan American Games, they were not ready. Hence the reason why St. Lucia haven't sent any boxers here. We have some young boxers, we're just developing our program because most of our senior boxers is over the hill. I'm not pushing them out of the game, but they wasn't ready for this competition. This is a serious competition going on here. This competition is a qualifier for Paris 2024. We saw boxers getting knocked out. We saw boxers end up in the hospital, the Jamaican boxer. We saw boxers getting the 8 count and even know that when they get in the 8 count, they have to keep their hands up. Anytime you get in the 8 count, you have to keep your hands up. You have to look at the referee so the referee could see that you could continue. We saw Grenadian boxer have his hand all down there. He get count out. 20 seconds at the end of his round. That's unacceptable.
According to Christopher, the boxers were being subjected to a level of competition that could potentially harm them physically due to their inexperience. Christopher believes that the region should continue to hone their craft and fight amongst themselves to get ready for events such as these.
We must not put the children at risk, sending them to these big competitions if they're not ready. We saw Dominica have boxers coming here. We saw boxers from Haiti. We saw boxers from other Caribbean islands here that should not have been here. You have to stay in the region and develop yourself in the region before you come to this competition. Guyana has some very good boxers. Yeah, we saw good boxers from Guyana. They get to the second round. Antigua had some good boxers, but all these boxers train overseas and who based in England, who went on big camp all around preparing for this year. So I want to say to administrators of boxers, if your athlete is not ready, do not send them out there. It's like throwing them in the lion's den. They're just flesh to be feasted on. They make it other countries get to the next round by just climbing over them easily. So it really had me emotional. It had me feeling bad as an administrator of the region to see our regional boxers going through this kind of punishment.
The concern for Christopher is that incidents causing harm may discourage current boxers from continuing and potential boxers from starting.
When you come up against Dominican Republic, you come up against Brazil, you come up against Cuba, you know, to name a few, Venezuela. These countries have some dangerous boxers, so have some Rocky Balboa, you know, and you can't throw your young boxers into that kind of treatment because it either make them don't want to box again, it make them get scared of that square, the ring, and would also injure them. The Jamaican boxers end up in the hospital. It was a whole commotion after his bout, unless doctors at the back that him on the observation for about a whole half an hour before he went to the hospital.
A subsequent conversation with International Boxing Association, AIBA, has highlighted the need for more support and involvement in the development of boxing in the Caribbean.
So I said to them that if you don't give us the necessary support in the region so we can prepare our boxers for this kind of competition, you will end up causing problems for young boxers. You will not see the direction of boxers going to the next level from the Caribbean because we're not prepared. It's a very expensive sport. And what's going on presently now with IOC and AIBA, you know AIBA has been suspended by IOC. We're not getting the kind of support from the IOC to prepare the boxers. If the government don't give you the support, you would not be able to reach anywhere far.
For Choice News Now from Chile, I am Kishma Seri.
Yes, thank you, Kishma. Kishma is from Choice TV from St. Lucia. She was reporting from the games in Santiago quite a bit. You know, I think it's a lot what he's saying can relate to in terms of the lack of proper preparation of our, well, in this case, our boxers participating there. And I wanted to share that with our folks because, you know, I think it comes into a lot what you were talking about, Rachel, in terms of ensuring that our athletes are prepared properly. But something you noted there, and I saw Rudian was acknowledging, we probably may just take an extra 5 minutes into our program there. But it has to do with it appears that there's a lot of friction within clubs or among clubs in Grenada. Are you saying that?
Yes, a lot. Yeah. And you see, what I think, the lack of respect, because, for example, if you are disciplined, you are challenged. Okay. Now, that's why I remember this woman, I think she was from one of the countries. She came in and she had a program on the radio. And she was asking for female coaches in Grenada. And the reason for that, there's a lot. Parents, I said to parents, when you send your kids to train, you come to see what's going on. Because what is happening, because of that breakdown and because of that lack of respect, you see all kind of things happening on the female coaches, on the male coaches. We had that before. You never see children want to ride up on male coaches and XYZ and XYZ. But what's happening, if you try to genuinely say, look, parents take offense. So you can't even talk. Because you see, there's a breakdown of morals. And when you try to set your standard, but I might stand up with standard. Tell who don't like it, you will just have to leave. You know? But what is happening? The kids are not quite ready. We take them, we send them to swim. We come back, we say they do their personal best. We take our gang at them, we say we're going on OECS, and we win in OECS, and we win in that. When we come to the real, as the man was saying, the real exposure where you have to go. Sometimes some sick, some say they're sick. Well, I guess they might be on the ride and they go and they're sick. But what I'm saying, if we will do this thing properly, right now we have a lot of developments going on, right? We had some development. Some kids had to go away. I don't know what happened. My girl came second in high jump. This one come this. Then I hear probably nobody going again. And if they go, I don't know what become of that games. And we have to show. I know sometimes probably they're not getting money as they might say. But if you have something that is funded, I think money had to come from somewhere. What I'm saying, that program, I don't know if it really come on ship. That was the last thing we had before that games. And the kids did well, but some of the kids was parents who can afford, right? I know it had one there who made it, and I know who the parents are because that was part of my relatives. And they could have done anything for that child to go. And eventually, I don't really sure who went. And this stays there because when certain sector of people might win something and they find it just stays on the shelf and probably nobody go again. So these are the things that the breakdown of morals. This is a whole problem. And sometimes some of the people is so arrogant that they don't want to even say nothing. Sometimes you're genuine and you're getting cussed out because you're speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Rudy, and as we get ready to wrap up there, quite a bit from Rachel, and it appears that as she indicated, and probably we can conclude that a lot needs to be changed, and probably are getting together of these coaches in Grenada, and I'm saying coaches in Grenada, so that they can, I don't know if we have a coaches association, right? Also, But it means that we probably need to get these coaches in line, even if it means expressing themselves, letting someone or the authorities know how they feel on certain things. Because
Yes.
Rachel is expressing that, but I'm not sure if everyone may want to say what they want to say, okay? And things like that. So, but it appears that a lot needs to be done. Rudian?
No, most definitely, and Rachel, certainly do understand your point of view. My process or experience, I have one in the same situation. Um, I think it really comes down to the parents,
Yeah.
because a kid cannot go anywhere by himself. The parents have to ensure that that happens. So a coach can say what they want to say, but it's the parents to make that decision and take the child out and go. And most of the parents taking that out of lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
and it's not even speaking with you. Let's use an example. I come to
Yeah.
you and I said, no, I would like to think. You have a conversation. And you say, okay, if you think the kid is not happy or you're not happy, you are welcome to leave. And that is more appropriate, than that. But it's up to is the parents, because they kids. They don't make decision on their own. Um,
Yeah.
and the parents have to step in, but they also have to be some sort of respect between coaches. Um, and if I can go to an athlete and if I see somebody doing something, or any of my athletes, I'd actually took a coach from a total different club
That's
to
right.
attract me,
That's right.
to watch one of my athletes. Um, and I said, just look at her. I'm trying to fix something and I couldn't fix it. So I said, look at her. I'm trying to fix something and I couldn't fix it. And then a parent saw me and they said, Rudy, I am so proud that I see you did this, because no coaches do that. I said, it's not about me. And nothing to do with me. I had my time. I had my time already. It is not about me. It's about that athlete that I'm trying to fix this and I can't. I had a young girl that I coached from since she was like 5 years old. And I coached her all the way up. We travel everywhere. And when she reached 18, she just left me.
Yeah.
And then she went downhill. People speak some bad things on her name, but I don't. But some people who said she will never do well again, and she never did. People said a lot of things about her because they saw how she treated me in terms of just picking up and leave without even having a conversation with me. She just gone. And I treat her the exact same way. When I see her, I show her the
Yeah.
love. I show her the
That's
care. I always ask how she doing. I always check up on her. And that's because that's who I am. I'm not here. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. I'm not here to badmind anybody.
that's
However,
right.
and that's really, and so a lot of people blame the parents too and blame stuff. That's why I bring up the parents aspect about it. My experience as an athlete and as a coach speaks for itself. I have people coming to me that I don't know. I have a young man came to me one time saying, I spoke to him. I said, dude, I don't even know you. I never speak to you. I don't know you. They want to come because they heard I've done this. They heard
That's
I've
it.
did this. They heard and then you have some other coaches said, take them to Rudy. Find Rudy. Here's his number. Call him. Because what you want, I cannot do it, but I trust him. So we have that. But that's a difference here. And there are situations where coaches has been recommend has been recommended by a lot of people. There have been situations where coaches has been gone to the board and coaches has been suspended for doing the same thing that you talk about, because as long as they are under the athletics Canada athletics program,
Yes.
the longer they're under that, there's a moralness to it. So if in Grenada the club is not registered, if they're not registered, then coaches are free to do whatever they want to do. But the minute they are registered, it put them in that position where they can be recommended. You know what I mean? And they can be suspended, they can be talked to, they can be bring into the office, and because that happening too much, where coaches just picking up athletes and telling them this and telling them that I can make you run better or swing farther or do those type of things, and they know they can't. I physically cannot tell somebody I can get you to run 10 meters,
No.
10 seconds. I can't. I can give you the workout. You come to me, you say, I want to run 10 seconds, I give you the work to do it. I cannot physically tell you that. Say, I can get it. No, you have to do it. I cannot do it for you. My athletes jumping, they want to jump, and after they want to jump from over 13 meters, she's 12 and change. You have to jump. I will help you to get there, but you have to go and do it. So a lot of coaches is going to parents and telling them, I can get their child to do this and I can do this. So it's not only in Grenada. It's not only in Canada. It's in the United States. It's in Jamaica. It's in the rest of the Caribbean islands. It's in Europe. It's everywhere. But the difference is those coaches can be punished for their doing, because there is that clause that there's certain things you cannot do. An athlete just cannot pick up and go to another club. They have to go through a whole process. It's not because there is a season, right? So in the season, they have to get a permission. There's a process they got to go through to switch. And they're not even switching clubs. They're switching coaches. Because once you register with the club for the year, you register. You cannot leave the club. But you can get permission to be coached by someone else and still compete under that club name, but be coached by someone else. So there's a process, and if that don't happen home, then we still continue the process. This thing should happen. There should be some sort of program where even the club have to pay a fee. May not be a lot, but pay a fee to be under the banner of Athletics Grenada or Sports Grenada, and in that way, clubs and stuff, they have that in place.
So some comments while we were speaking there. One says, and that was coming out from the YouTube. She's right. No respect for coaches, athletes, and parents, and also go on to say, please remember too that the coach sometimes become the parents of those kids, father figure, mother figure, as we saw in the case of the late Harvey Gans with Kirani James. Okay, and then Josh is saying coaches here prefer the spotlight and bragging rights rather than work to get athletes at the highest level. They just want to walk around saying, oh, I have the fastest athlete in Grenada, and that's good enough for them. So some of the comments. Rachel, we come to the end of our program. Some final words from you as we wrap up.
Well, what I will want to say that I hope my short advice, I love you parents, I love you coaches, will help us to be better. We could come together, form a organization and athletics, and because it's too much of nagging, and that's why we are not getting much. We nag too much, so we want to get that peace, that love. I am willing, I'm open. You meet me, I know some of you are hearing me, but I don't like that, but I have to say it because this thing is about the children. If they go to the make CARIFTA team, all of them meeting up on the same plane together, how will they interact? And another thing, we need to get coaches who has the most athletes sometimes, or different coaches from the different clubs to travel with the athletes. The last time they take one of, wasn't my athlete, another one, and brought, the little child said she was so uncomfortable that she wasn't treated nice because she didn't come accustomed. So we need to get even the administrative to understand that in swimming, in those days when we had that President Mr. Steve used to say it's 3 clubs, we need to get 3 coaches because it's different children from different clubs and they don't know the other coaches. And when you take kids and bring them with different coaches, sometimes they don't even perform properly because they don't know you. And these are the things we need to get, to fix, and we have a better Grenada.
Okay. I saw some comments coming in. Claire, at the start of the program, we mentioned it briefly about the concern about the repairs at the stadium, and I think Rachel spoke a bit about the challenges she do face, but we did mention about the concern about the timeline regarding the stadium. Yeah, we spoke about it briefly at the start of the program, that regarding the repairs to be done at the planned repairs to be done at the stadium. And we even draw the fact that, with the weather and all of that, starting in February, then you say 4 to 5 weeks. It means that what is the situation with Intercol and with the CARIFTA Games and, all these sort of things. So we did express some concern with the timeline, and we have no control over the weather pattern. And that could be a factor, a determining factor. And I think, as we said, it kind of close for comfort. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt in terms of the technical people, blah, 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 but we know at times that it's very concerning because as we speak, I heard that most of the facilities at the Pan Am Games in Chile have not been completed. In fact, the swimming facility, part of it is actually still to be completed in terms of construction. It's not fully constructed. So they're using part of the facility. They were still doing some work on the, as a matter of fact, track and field starts in about 3 or 4 days. And the warm-up track was only finished, I think, was yesterday. So, and I'm saying that to say that we don't want that situation for our CARIFTA games or CARIFTA athletes. You have to, I would say, give our athletes a little time, this home advantage, to get themselves acclimatized to the new track, et cetera, all these things. And I think 4 to 5 weeks after February 7th is cutting it close for the end of March, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's some serious concerns there. And I hope that, they will work it out, and that's my thing. I hope they have a master plan, and there's also a plan B. There's a plan B, because it means that there will be some interruption for the track and field. It means that schools now will have to, Tantine, for example, Roy St. John, it will have to be the main venue for some of them for their preparation or the hosting of the track and field competition, because the cricket stadium will also be under construction, under repairs, I should say. So these are things that even Rachel will have to consider as a coach for preparation for the 2024 track and field season. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have already heads up on those stuff, but my concern is about the fields. Is it ready? Will it be rolled? And some of them is like crab holes. Will it be rolled properly? That's the reason why I stopped going to Tanti, because in the back there sometimes it's a swimming pool, then it's bumpy, and till once they miss a twist my foot there already, and that's my main reason for not going to some of those fields, right? And then there was putting on lights, digging up. So I don't know why the state of Tanti. A long time I walk there, so I really don't know. The people who training in Tanti, sometimes I pity them, So it's a lot. So we might have looked at Busheju, all kind of track
And that's
so
and that's why I'm saying that when you're doing these things, you must have a plan in place, because what you're saying there now, and if they're now working on Tantine and all these sort of things, these are things that should have been put in place, because you have a master plan. So okay, within the next week or 2 or month or so, this will happen. Then we need to start working on what the alternative is. Like your major highway is being worked on and it will be closed off, but your by roads or your byways are not in good condition. You understand? You need to put it in good condition first before you start the work on the major highway, And I think that may be the problem, because you'll wait until it's upon you to start working on Tantine, and then by then it's a whole chaos, because now you're talking about whether or not they would have, I don't even know if they discussed that with the coaches who will be impacted, for example, who have been using the stadium, that listen, come, apart from what we have seen on social media, here is what will be happening come 2024. The stadium will be out of use. However, here are the alternatives that can be used. Busheju, Queen's Park Ground 2, Tantine, La Sagesse, these are all fields that are available. The Limes, they are all up to, in terms of the conditions and things like that. So I don't know if there have been that conversation. I'm just seeing things on social media. I'm wondering.
Mr. Bascom, what you're saying, I speak about it. I speak to the administrative people. Call us together. We paying money. Get all the coaches together. Tell us what happened. I am sunk in it. Okay? If one go, they will hear it. I never think we ever come together where we training to have a meeting. So that's why sometimes you mightn't be there. This one might be. So we need administrative body. They're trying their best with what they have. But when it comes to the communication skills, we have a big problem. Think what happened one day when I walk in the stadium, a cleaner telling me, you can't come in. I say, yo, now you have to tell me that. And they might find a rude. Okay? A cleaner telling me that. And sometimes when they bring it up, just imagine someone spoke to me. I didn't even realize was somebody in charge, brother. And the kind of way it's like, I ask, who are you? Is it wrong for me to ask you, who are you, sir? Somebody approached me, I asked, who are you? It sounds like she rude, but you addressing me on an issue and asking, who are you? I am there, I never really know who you are. And all these little things. But if we think about the kids and love, real love shows up, brother. And if we can do those things, meet us on our level. We respect you, so respect us. And that's what we're trying to say, brother. I love my country and I love my youth, and I live in for 145 years. Watch my word.
I mean, one of the things that you said is so true because I mean, we didn't know, but I represent Grenada in the Olympic Games, and that was in 2000. And when we come, both you could ask Hazeland Regis, both me and Hazeland, we went to the stadium for training, and we couldn't get in. We could not. We had to train. We had to train outside of the stadium. We could not go inside the stadium. We could not. So I get what you're saying, and it's been years. I listened to the boxer give the comment recently, Michael, and he said something. And he said something that we've been speaking about on the show for many for the past 2 years. They don't have nothing in place. There's no system in place. And it's not only in Grenada. You can see it now across the they don't have the things in place that get these athletes ready for major competition, and not even major, for regular competition. Something at home, they don't have the stuff in place. We talk about the stadium. I'm pretty sure they got the budget already. I'm pretty sure they got the money already for the stadium. Why we have to wait so long? And a track need to be settled.
Yeah.
At the same time, when you put it down, it don't take long to lay down, but it has to be settled at the same time. So when you wait so long and you give yourself short timing to get it done, and I'm 100% sure they got the budget, they know what the budget is, and they had the money for the stadium already. The money is not coming next year. They have to have it already.
Well, no, these things, and remember, these things are contracted, right? In terms of the lane of the stadium. So you have to have the people that know exactly. If I can, not just recall, this is not the first time they lay in the track, because we had the first stadium, then
first stadium, yeah.
So it's something that they know of how
they
to
know
do
already.
Yeah, how to do it. The concern, though, is the timelines.
Is the timing?
Because you said it will start after independence, okay? But when you look at 4 to 5 weeks, and again we're saying that when you're doing these things, it's not an indoor facility, so you could say, okay, if it's raining or whatever, it doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't lay a track in rain, okay?
You can't
do it in rain. And we have no control over weather phenomena. We don't know if in February we'll have a lot of rain and it will be this, that, or the other. I'm just saying that the timelines. So
it's not.
Let's say there wasn't any CARIFTA Games or Intercol at that period. Then there's no problem, because you have enough time, whatever it is, whether your first major activity was, let's say, in August or whatever, you have enough time. But I'm still saying that timeline seems to be
the timeline is not there.
I am giving them the benefit. I'm giving them the benefit
doubt.
of the doubt. But I'm just saying it's kind of worrisome.
It's not. When we host the NACA games here in Toronto, I think it was NACA. It wasn't Panams. I think it was NACA in Toronto, the track and field part of it. It was a German company that laid the track down. And there was a problem with it, because I was part of the organization in doing stuff. We had to call them back. They had to fly back to Canada because there were some problems. They had to fly back to Canada and fix some, because there was a sink in it. So they had to come back in to do it. Right. So it's those little things is stuff that you cannot cancel, and there's no backup right now. There's no backup for CARIFTA. It's Grenada and it's Grenada. We don't have a backup track. It's National Stadium, and that's what it is. It's the Kirani James Stadium. We don't have a backup, and that's where it's going to be. So, like I said, hopefully somebody is listening to us, Michael, and take that into consideration, and maybe they do have it in consideration. Maybe hoping that the information that we receive is false, meaning that it's more than 5 weeks, But if it is, it's not. So we have no control of nature. We have no control of the rain. We can get 2 weeks of rain. We're not calling for it, but it can happen. And then where does that put you?
Yeah, I'm just
it puts you in a position.
The concern is, and again, in addition to that, if you put it out something like that, it would be, let's say, you're talking about the stadium and how blah blah blah. I thought what would have been good in terms of communication is to say in the same communication what are the alternatives for, let's say, a major event like Intercol, because that to me will be impacted, right? There's no if and but about it. So in that you would have said even if it's just, without giving specifics, you could say Intercol and the CARIFTA Games in terms of preparations, etc., would not be impacted. We have been assured, etc., blah blah blah. Rest assured, give people the confidence, give people the sigh of relief that everything will be in place, and we will not be rushing. We will not be in a rush to get things done. We have a tendency in Grenada to be sweeping and mopping on the day of the event. You understand? Or the workmen still ponging something on the day of the event, and not enough time to do a little dress rehearsal and etc.
Definitely.
Have a tendency. But my thing is that, well, I mean, I seen they say they're going to set us back in Rebel. Hey, I have no problem wherever they say. It's just that the facilities must be in place. So even if it means Intercol goes to Last Adjust or it goes to Grenville or whatever, you have to put the facility at a level that can be conducive for such an activity. Okay? You can't just say put it back in Grenville or put it in wherever, and then the facility is just the same. Okay?
Just the same.
Intercol every year has been evolving, and you're seeing the involvement of Intercol. It's a major event.
It's a major event.
It is not one of. It is the biggest
event.
In Grenada. Outside of Carnival, it's Intercol.
Intercol.
And it is probably the second major in terms of school
in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean. So come on, we have to treat it with that level. So that's just our appeal. I mean, nobody really criticizing, but I think it's something out of concern, and we are saying it here now and early enough, because I know probably later on there'll be some discussions about it and say, oh wait, there's some serious concerns and we should have do this and we should have done that and things like that. So, but again, thank you very much, Rachel. It has been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, Miss Modeste.
I know it's your first. Hopefully, it won't be your last. And I can tell you nothing to be afraid of. You did pretty well, and I know there's a lot of things that you want to say, but I think I can
wisdom coming.
Yeah, there's a passion. But kids, that's what you're concerned about. The youth.
That's what it's about. It's about the kids.
Well, we have a new set rising. You'll see them soon.
Okay. So listen. So I just see something there. I probably want to share. As you know, Lee Coffey is saying, as it relates to the upcoming sports season and the challenge with the repairs of the track, schools like the Anakin High School and the GBSS have decided to host their sports meet in November. November, that is next month.
That's next month. Wow.
Wow. Well, we probably have a lot of things to discuss in the next coming programs, Rudian.
For sure. That is a new one. That is
and Rachel,
certainly a new one.
I think you would have opened up a lot of things in your discussions there, and certainly a lot of things for us to ponder. But one of the things I think is a big takeaway for us is your call for the coming together of coaches.
Yeah, the
Coaches coming
coaches. I
together.
think
Yeah,
the major coaches, they need to humble and do what they have to do. Right.
yeah. I want to agree with that. I think we have a lot to offer. The coaches do have a lot to offer, and remembering that our coaches in Grenada are volunteers, right? They're not paid per se. Okay, they are basically they are volunteer, and in most cases, they are taking monies out of their own pockets, you know, to um, to subsidize whatever it is, whether it's to pay for this the use of the stadium, to buy things for the kids, all these sort of things like that. So we have to understand that they are not paid, and they're subsidizing the running of their clubs, etc., etc. Right?
Some of them are paid by the government, but they
Well,
still have the club. So,
yeah,
it's just, and that's what give them the help to that can use their monies to get stuff. And, so that's thank God for that because they have a little job for him, the
yeah.
student.
But I'm saying, in generally, most of
Yeah,
folks like you and others, yeah, folks like you and
sure.
others, yeah,
Yes.
thing like that. So, all right. So, thank you very much, Rachel. It has been a
Thank you
pleasure.
for watching.
Um,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for sticking around for that was extra half an hour, I should say.
Thank
Um,
you.
but
You're
I, I,
welcome.
I, I think our viewers, our participants, really learned a lot from you and get to know, um, you know, who is Rachel. Well, at the time it was Rachel Patrick, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
Modeste now,
Yeah.
involved in swimming and track and field, and doesn't talk a lot, is not the one on social media as others and things like that. So, but you have been working behind the scenes, and I want to
Yeah.
congratulate you as well. All
Thank you.
right, and thanks very much,
I would
Rachel.
like I would
Sorry.
like my number if someone is listening to us, help the needy ones. My number is 1473-456-9480. We have a group of us working together to assist the kids. Coach Lisa, we have Coach, what's his name? Wilson, and a few of us working along together. So it's not just I alone. We are registered. We are registered business, non-profit. Thank you very
So,
much.
so you're saying it's okay for me to share your number, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as Rachel number is 473-456-9480, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Right. So if anyone wants to assist Rachel and her club and all those that involved, her number once again is 456-9480. You
Yes, sir.
can link her up on WhatsApp, and certainly you will be able to assist and make a difference. If you need to get the number, you can always contact me, and I will be able to
Mr.
share it with you.
Tabasco, my friend.
Yeah,
And Mr. Ruden,
Rudian,
add some,
Rudian
Mr.
Silva.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you on, and we're definitely gonna want you back again, most definitely. And share
Okay.
your stories, and even sometimes bring some athletes on. Let we hear from them too.
Yes,
It's
yes,
always good to hear some of the athletes.
we have a young.
Definitely.
All right, then.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, Rachel. All right.
Thank
It
you.
has been a pleasure. Okay,
I
then.
wish you
Thank
all
you
the
very much.
best.
All right, then. Thank you. So
Good
that's
night.
Rachel Modeste and Rudian Sylvan. Rudian in Toronto, Rachel in St. George's. And certainly Rachel brought quite a bit for us. Yeah, quite a bit. She is, no, as they say, no holds bar, certainly. What's her name of her club is again, Rachel, what's the name of your club?
Runners Athletics.
Runners
Runners
at
Athletics.
Runners Athletics, right? Runners Athletics. And
Yeah.
she's also trying to get the swimming back in Carriacou. Red Snappers, Carriacou and Petit Martinique Red Snappers. That's the swimming club in Carriacou, as she has been involved in the swimming in Carriacou. They don't have a pool, but she used the sea, right? She goes up there and things like that. So once you interested, you can always get some contact Rachel. And again, her number is 456 9480. Take that down, 456-9480. Hit her up on WhatsApp. You can send her a message, and you can get as much information as possible. Runners Club, any assistance you can provide, Rachel, and certainly she will appreciate, I would say. And as she said, some of our athletes will really, they are in need of some assistance, because some of them will need some shoes, whatever it is, like that. So whatever you can do to assist, please do that. Rachel, thank you once again. And for those folks who, well, there's a special event on at River Road today. That's the River Road Legacy Foundation being officially launched. Wall of fame, wall of plaque, and you'll see the names of some of the those who have left us, and then we have the legends, that those who still living. But it's a wonderful sight. I'm certain that if you get a chance, anyone from River Road or wherever, once you get to the River Road area, I think it's something that you should really go to look at. But the official launch will take place today, 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I think it's something that you should go and take a look at. I will try to get as much information as possible, probably post it. Chenny Joseph is fully involved in that, so we'll have some information from Chenny as well. But from what I've seen in terms of the preparations and things like that, so should be a very good, and it's a very good initiative, I want to say, and something I'm hoping that my good friend Lincoln Toro Deputy can probably emulate at the wharf. He always talks about the wharf and the carnage. Well, Toro, I really want to see something like that, But certainly, something we can see replicate in other communities, where they actually recognize those who have made valuable contributions to the community, and that is something they're doing for River Road. Those who have left us, I know it will be a lot, but they have made a start, and they're hoping to, and as well as the legends, because there are a lot of folks who are not living in River Road, but somehow they grew up in River Road and then moved to other areas. And it's something that is being done. The River Road Legacy Foundation officially being launched today. Congratulations, folks. And it has been a pleasure, folks, being with you for the last hour and a half. Always a pleasure having you, and looking forward to you joining us come next week, God's willing. Same time. Yes, it will be the same time. We have not changed. Time zone as yet. So I will say, same time. I'm laughing there because I'm getting sort of distracted a bit. Clem is saying that it's something, while he congratulated the folks of River Road, he's saying that's something they spoke about a long time. But he's saying that we need a mountain, not a wall. I guess as much carnage he's talking about, because they do have a lot, and they have lost a lot in the communities over the past few months, I would say. Almost every week or every other week, someone from the carnage or someone who have been affiliated to the carnage has, left us, and I'm certain that they will find a way to make some sort of recognition to them. Thank you very much once again, folks. Always a pleasure you've been with us, and the invitation is yours to join us come next Saturday, God's willing, same time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, for another program. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend.